Welcome back, students. So now we will continue with the other part of this energy sources. As I've told you, we have completed all the energy sources that was there in the syllabus. Now, the other part in that is related to environmental issues like global warming and uh, ozone depletion. So we have to study what do you mean by global warming, what do you mean by ozone depletion, what are the causes for these things, what are the effects of these things, and how we can reduce this. Okay, so two important issues related to environment. One of them is called the global warming. So what is global warming first of all? So global warming is a gradual process of heating of Earth's surface and the whole environment, including oceans, ice caps, etc. According to the Environmental Pollution Agency, in the past century, there is increase in the Earth's surface average temperature by around 1.4 degree Fahrenheit, that is 0.8 degree Celsius. Okay, so we all are familiar with these things like global warming. So, if I want to put it in the definition, it is a process of heating of the surface of the Earth and also the environment, which is including oceans and ice caps, etc. And it is seen that the temperature is being increased at a rate of 0.8 degree Celsius or 1.4 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, so what is global warming? What is causing these things? Okay, why global warming is happening? And we have to first of all understand, if global warming continues in this rate, what are the effects we are going to face? Right, what are the effects of these global warming on Earth as well as on human beings as well as on the other living animals? Okay, what are the causes for global warming? So global warming is primarily caused by increasing concentration of greenhouse gases produced by human activities such as burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil and natural gas, etc. Another factor is deforestation. When forests are cut down or being burnt, they can no longer store carbon, and the carbon is released to the atmosphere. So we are doing every effort from our side to increase the global warming, isn't it? On one side, we are burning fossil fuels, by which there's a lot of greenhouse gas that is coming out on one side. On the other side, we are also destructing all the trees. Right, we should have been doing the opposite of these two things, but we are exactly doing what is not supposed to be done. We are not growing plants, we are going for deforestation on one side, thereby the carbon percentage in the atmosphere is increasing. Right, it will go to the atmosphere. On the other hand, we are also promoting the greenhouse gases to come by using a lot of fossil fuels, isn't it? So every day we are running so much of automobiles, we are burning so much of fuel that so many pollutants are going into the atmosphere and creating this effect of global warming, isn't it? So we are started experiencing these phenomena of global warming now. You can see the effects also. We have started seeing the effect also. The temperature started rising. On the other hand, you could see the ice caps being melting. And those are connected to the oceans, and because of that the oceans are coming beyond their boundaries, right? So that it's creating a problem for coastal regions, because whatever the ice are being melted, they will be converting into water and they'll add up with the oceans. So the level of the water in the oceans will come forward, right? So because of that, there is a threat for the coastal places all over the world, right? And second thing, there are so many other health issues that is being happening because of this global warming. So let's just go through what are the effects of these global warming. So effects of global warming. So first one, global warming causes a lot of climate changes in the atmosphere, such as increasing in summer season, decreasing of winter season, increasing in temperature, changes in the air circulation patterns, rain without proper season, melting of ice caps, declining of ozone layer, occurrence of heavy storms, cyclones, flood, drought, and so many effects. So whatever is happening these days in the environment, we know that we are directly responsible for all these things, isn't it? So we are the main reasons for all these natural calamities that is happening these days, such as storms, cyclones, floods. For everything that is happening, the more we try to play with the nature will have its own way of responding, isn't it? So you can see what are the effects that is being listed here. First of all, increasing in summer season, right? And particularly in areas like Mangalore, you could feel that in the summer season what will be the temperature, right? There is absolute increase in temperature nowadays, which was not the case earlier. Even though areas are the places such as which were supposed to be very much in the comfort zone of human beings, even there these days they started experiencing change in temperatures, right? Then decreasing in winter seasons, increasing in temperature, which is again related to the seasons itself, changes in the air circulation patterns, rain without season. This is one more thing that we are experiencing quite often right now, right? We don't know when it will rain. It is not happening according to the seasons. Usually during the rainy season, when the rain is expected, it doesn't rain, and when the rain is not expected, it starts raining. It again creates a lot of trouble to the farmers, because they know the season and according to the season they work, and if there is no proper rainfall at that time, then they cannot grow their crops properly, right? So, and again one more thing is that these floods have been happening. You can see in almost every year from past few years, if you see, India is facing this problem of floods in one or the other places. It can be in Kerala or in the north. We have experienced this all, right? Okay. Declining of ozone layer, anyways we will discuss particularly on ozone layer later on, and occurrence of storms, floods, and drought. Now, what is the solution for this? What is the solution for global warming? Okay, this is what we are supposed to know and what we are supposed to do. So many awareness programs and programs to reduce global warming have been run and implemented by the government agencies, business leaders, private sectors, NGOs, etc. Just having the awareness programs will not make any difference. Of course, we need to first of all educate people with respect to these global warmings and the causes of these, and also with the effects of this. It becomes the duty of the individual, not only the duty of the government or the duty of the NGOs. It becomes the duty of every single individual to help to make this world a better place, right? So first of all, most of them are unaware of these things. So yes, of course, first thing, we need to make these awareness programs regarding global warming. What is the reason behind for this, and how can we control this? Okay, next is reducing the level of coal and oil burning, use of transportation means, use of electrical devices, etc. may reduce the global warming to a greater level. Okay, so this point, what it meant is that use of transportation means, that means probably we have to use public transport. So if one person has to travel, then why take a car, isn't it? So if you are supposed to travel from one place to another place, and if there is a public transport available, let's make use of the public transport every time. Or I'm just telling with respect to some of the things that we could do, right? So whenever, if at all we are going in a private vehicle or a car, so let us see to it that let us do the pooling, and 4 or 5 people can go in a car instead of one. If 4 person going in 4 different vehicles, it would be better that if the destination is same, it is always better that we can go together, right? So that will save a lot of fuel on one side. It will also make a lot of saving in the fuel, plus it also helps in the reduction of global warming. That is one thing probably we can do to reduce global warming. And reducing the level of coal, we don't know. Again, it depends on the amount of requirement of demand in the power sector, right? So we are trying to invest as much as possible. The government is trying to invest a lot in solar energy these days. So if we can produce a lot of power from this clean energy sources, like the non-conventional energy sources, then only it is possible to reduce the global warming. And nowadays, there are so many things that the government is taking up. The steps that is being taken up, for example, upgradation of vehicles from BS4 to BS6 emission standard, right? So that the very stringent rules have been applied to reduce the amount of pollutants that is going into the atmosphere. So all the BS4, I hope you know what is BS4 and BS6 they mean. So Bharat stage 4 and Bharat stage 6. Okay, so there is no stage 5. From stage 4 we are directly going to stage 6 because there is no the rules have been very stringent now. So we cannot go from 4 to 5. That's what it is being told. So we have to move forward. That is, we have to go directly to the stage 6. Okay, so these are the emission standards what is set up by the government. So now all the vehicles which were supposed to be coming from April 1st had to be compliance with the BS6, but now, as you know, there is probably a lot of problem associated with because of this corona. So we don't know what has actually happened, whether the deadline has been extended for the sale of BS4 or was March 31st was the last, right? Because there is no more sales that is permitted for BS4 vehicles. So all the vehicles being selling from April 1st was supposed to be from the registration will happen only if it is following BS6 norms. Okay, so these are some of the rules that is being taken. Okay, and as you know, electric vehicles is another alternative, so which is absolutely having no pollutants at all. The mileage in the sense the efficiency is quite better compared to that of IC engines. So there we have almost at single charge they say it can run up to say 80 to 90 kilometers. So if you are using fuel, that will any vehicle will generally take up to 1 to 2 liters of fuel, right? And it also produces equal amount of pollutants into the atmosphere, whereas in case of battery run electric vehicles there is absolutely zero emissions. There is no emission that is being happening at all. So these are some of the things that we need to take care. I'm not only I'm telling you only in general and only about the vehicle, because most of the pollutants are coming from the vehicles itself, right? I hope you're all aware of these things, what's happening, isn't it? So in Delhi you could actually see what are the things that is happening. So in generally in the season of winter there is absolutely no visibility at all because of so much of pollution in places like Delhi and other metro cities, that there is no visibility at all. So much of pollution, so much of smog. So the Delhi government has come up with the rule of odd even formula, isn't it? So that means they are trying to reduce the number of vehicles that is moving per day. One day vehicles with odd numbers will only move, and the next day the vehicle with the registration number which is even will be moving. So these are some of the rules they are being doing so as to reduce this problem of pollution and other things. So we are actually facing a lot of problems, so we need to think of something beyond these things. So we don't know how much this electric vehicle is going to be successful. If that is the case, yes, to some extent definitely there will be reduction in the pollution, but we don't know. It's all new these days. We don't know what are the problems that may occur. For example, there was a discussion going on saying that what happens to the batteries. So now the batteries are coming with a life of say 3 years or 4 years. So what will happen after 4 years? Because nobody has thought about it. What will happen after 4 years? If all vehicles, the battery is over, if it has to be replaced, then what happens to the existing, the used batteries? How do we dispose it? So that can be another problem. So we really don't know what are the things related to that. But as of now, as compared to this emissions is concerned, battery vehicle, that is electric vehicle, are having zero emissions. Okay, anyways, these are some of the things that can be done with respect to global warming. Things like depending a lot on non-conventional energy sources, green energy is what we call. Second thing, reducing the use of fossil fuels. All these things only can save us from global warming. Okay. Another important environmental issue is depletion of ozone layer. Alright, so depletion of ozone layer. So as you all know that ozone is basically a gas layer, right? It's a certain thick, it has a very a certain amount of thickness, and it is covered over the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, so it's basically a gaseous layer which is doing a wonderful job of protecting the Earth from the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun, isn't it? So as long as ozone layer is there on the atmosphere, the ultraviolet rays of the sun, which are very harmful for human beings and other animals, of course, is not being allowed to enter. It reacts with the ozone and it will stop it from entering into the earth. But again, what are we doing there? We're trying our level best in this case also to make the ozone layer deplete. The thickness of the ozone layer goes on decreasing, thereby it is difficult for it to prevent the ultraviolet radiations entering into the earth. And as if you all know, what will happen if ozone layer depletes, ultraviolet rays will be allowed to enter into the earth. And what happens if ultraviolet rays reaches the earth's surface? It creates a lot of health issues for both aquatic life as well as animals and human beings. Okay, so first of all, let's see where ozone layer is located and in what layer it is present and how is it protecting us from the radiation. Okay, so the atmosphere of the earth is divided into 5 layers. From closest from the surface, if we consider, it is to the farthest layers, it is troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Okay, I hope something you remember from what you have studied in your school days, right? So even though we may not exactly know what these things mean, but I'm sure all of you would have heard these terms before. What is troposphere, what is stratosphere, what is mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Okay, let's not discuss more on these things, these layers of the atmosphere. Okay, now next see what is ozone. So ozone, as I told you, it's a colorless gas which is found in the stratosphere of the Earth's upper atmosphere. Okay, so we have troposphere and then on next level we have a stratosphere. So ozone is present in the stratosphere of the Earth's atmosphere. The majority of the atmosphere's ozone remains in the stratosphere, which extends from 10 kilometers above the surface to 50 kilometers. So you can see the amount of thickness or the layer in which ozone is there. The majority of the atmosphere's ozone remains in the stratosphere, which extends from 10 kilometers above the surface to 50 kilometers. So that's the range in which ozone layer is there. The Earth's stratospheric ozone layer plays a critical role in absorbing ultraviolet radiations emitted by our sun and protects the Earth from its harmful effects of the UV rays, otherwise which could cause skin cancers for human and can lead to genetic damage. Hence, ozone layer is essential for the life on Earth as it absorbs all the harmful ultraviolet radiations from the sun. So you know what is ozone layer and what does it do. So I've already explained that, isn't it? So ozone does not allow the harmful ultraviolet rays of the solar system, of the sun to reach the Earth. So in the recent years, the thickness of this ozone layer is being decreasing, leading to creating holes in the layer is called as ozone depletion. So in recent year, the thickness of the layer is being decreasing, leading to create holes in the layer, which is called as ozone depletion. So I am very much sure if you are seeing the TV or reading over internet these days, it is being told that, right, that the hole that was created in the Arctic region has been now recovered. Okay, have you read this news? So it's been circulating all over in the social media sites as well as in the internet sites. If you would see this things that the ozone layer is being started, the depletion has been stopped, or the holes whatever has been created has been filled now. Why it is happening? Because of this no movement of vehicles again, isn't it? So you can see so many things that has been heard, that some of the animals that was not seen at all are suddenly started appearing, right? So the dolphins have started coming out where they weren't seen from a long time. The birds have started coming out which were not seen from quite a long time. Why all these are happening? Because we have stopped creating problems in the environment from past 1 or 2 months, isn't it? So that means we are all staying at home. There is no much movement of the vehicles. There is no industries that was running. There was no harmful gases coming out of the industries, right? So all these things have made Earth a much better place now to live. So you can see the pollution index has come down in majority of the cities, right? The pollution levels have come down. The water has started becoming much cleaner than it was before. I've just seen this in one of the videos where they are showing that river Ganges has become much more much more reduction in pollution when compared previous to lockdown. So that means it is we who are creating all the problems, isn't it? We people are the one who are playing with the nature, and we are trying to create all sorts of things that is happening in the nature these days. So just because we are not doing anything and we are just sitting idle, the nature has started healing itself. Most of the problems, if you see, the environment has become much cleaner. The ozone layer has started recovering. The waters have become clean, right? So that means we are the reason for all these things that is being happening. Okay, now what are the causes for the depletion of this ozone layer? So the main ozone depleting substances are CFCs. Okay, these are the major things because of which ozone layers are being depleted. That is chlorofluorocarbons. And where do we use this chlorofluorocarbons? It is used as coolants in refrigerators, freezers, and air in buildings and cars, and ACs in buildings and cars. Chlorofluorocarbons are the main substances that are causing ozone depletion, accounting to 80% of the total stratospheric ozone depletions. Alright, so these are the substances which are actually used as coolants in most of the refrigerators and ACs, right? Even as well as in buildings, as in cars. So these are the substances which are the main reasons, and it is almost accounting to 80% of the total stratospheric depletion of ozone layer. So there has to be a check on these chlorofluorocarbons, and it should be limited. Okay, some other things, some other chemicals, that is halons, which are used in some fire extinguishers. That is one more material which is creating the problem with the depletion in ozone layer. Methyl chloroform is another one. It is mainly used in industries for reducing vapor, some aerosols, cold cleaning, adhesives, and for chemical processing. Okay, that's another compound, that is methyl chloroform. And the next one is carbon tetrachloride. So it is also used as solvents in some fire extinguishers. So major, as I told you, the major reason is chlorofluorocarbons. Apart from that, we have halons, methyl chloroform, and also carbon tetrachloride. So all these ozone depleting substances remain stable in the lower atmospheric region, but as they reach the stratosphere, they get exposed to ultraviolet rays. This leads to their breakdown and releasing free chlorine atoms, which reacts with ozone gas, thus leading to depletion of the ozone layer. Got it? So what is actually happening here is these substances, that is the chlorofluorocarbons or any other material for that matter, they will remain stable in the lower atmospheric region, but when they reach stratosphere, when it is exposed to atmosphere and when it reaches stratosphere, they get exposed to ultraviolet rays, which leads to the breakdown of these compounds, releasing chlorine atoms. And these chlorine atoms react with ozone and leading to depletion of the ozone layer. This is what is happening. Okay, so they are exposed to ultraviolet rays as it reaches stratosphere. From there, they start react with the chlorine atom is released, and these chlorine atoms which are released from these chlorofluorocarbons will start reacting with ozone layer and forming compounds. Thereby, ozone layer goes on depleting. That is a major reason for depletion of ozone layer. Effects of ozone layer, I have already mentioned this. The major effects of these is absolutely with respect to the health issues with the living animals. So let us go to some of the details into this one. The depletion of ozone layer allows entering of UV rays from the sun to the Earth's atmosphere, which is associated with a number of health-related issues and environmental issues. Okay. So what are its impact on human health? So first one and the most expected and the common one is skin cancer. When the ultraviolet rays are exposed to the skin, there is a possibility of a skin cancer disease. So exposure to UV rays from the sun can lead to increased risk of developing several type of skin cancers. Malignant melanoma, basal and squamous cells carcinoma are the most common cancers that are caused due to exposure to UV rays. Okay, so you can see all these are related to skin cancers. Next one, eyes, eye damage. Ultraviolet rays are harmful for our eyes. Direct exposure of ultraviolet rays can lead to cataract problems and also photokeratitis or snow blindness. So this is another effect of UV rays. So this can also create problem to the eyes. Next, damage to the immune system. So immune system is also highly vulnerable to UV rays. Increased exposure of UV rays can lead to weakening of the response of immune system and even impairment of the immune system in extreme cases. So you can just see what are the problems we are facing, isn't it? There are so many diseases that is coming up. It's all because of these pollutions and these problems only. Today the number of diseases that we have are much more than what we had earlier. Cancer, things like cancer have become such a common thing today. So if we could see, most of the people who are aged are being tested with, when they test, they found that they have cancers. You can see whether it is any of the celebrities or politicians or any of the people. You generally see, if you just look into in the past year itself, you would see most of the people who have died that's just because of the cancer, isn't it? So we are actually trying to do something, and we are facing a lot of issues with respect to our health these days. Okay, so aging of skin. Next point, exposure to UV rays can lead to acceleration of aging process of your skin. This will result in you looking older than what you actually are. Okay, so this is a major problems for girls, I would feel. Okay, because maybe no, it's problem is a problem, but I'm saying if you read this point, girl students would be feeling more thinking that they should not be exposed to ultraviolet rays at all, because exposure to UV rays can lead to acceleration of aging process of your skin. This will result in you looking older than what you actually are. So that means the aging takes place at a faster rate than the normal, right? That is one more effect of ultraviolet rays. Okay, in humans, exposure to UV rays can also lead to difficulty in breathing, chest pain, throat irritation, and also can lead to hampering of lung function. Alright, so we see that there are so many problems associated with the UV rays. So the only way to stop these things from happening is to stop using of the chlorofluorocarbons and other halogens and other things, so that the ozone layer, which is protecting us from the ultraviolet rays, will always be intact. Okay, if we continuously start doing these things, then if the ozone layer goes on depleting, then the whole world will be in the problem. Impact on environment. So the previous points, whatever we have studied was with respect to human health, and now what we are going to study is the impact on environment. UV rays affect other forms of other life forms too. It adversely affects the different species of amphibians and is one of the prime reasons for declining number of amphibian species. It affects them in every stage of their life cycle, from hampering the growth and development in the larvae stage, deformities and decreases immunities in some species, and to even retinal damage and blindness in some of the species. So as I have mentioned, it's not only in the case of human beings, it is also affect the UV radiations are also affecting all the other animals, including aquatic life as well as amphibians. Okay, so UV rays also have adverse effect on marine ecosystem. It adversely affects planktons, which play a vital role in the food chain and ocean carbon cycle. Affecting phytoplankton will in turn affect the whole ocean ecosystem. Okay, so so as I've told you, the UV rays will not only affect human beings, but also affects various aquatic life as well as animals. So as it is mentioned here, it affects amphibians species, as well as it affects something called as the planktons, which plays a vital role in the food chain and oceanic carbon cycle. So planktons are usually those small organisms that are there in the ocean, okay, which are usually being eaten by fishes and other animals. So they become an important part in the in the ocean ecosystem. Okay, so if these ultraviolet rays are affecting them, then that is going to disturb the entire ecosystem of the ocean. Okay, so most of the fishes and other things are feeding on these things. So if they are affected and if they are not available, or they are getting extinct because of these exposure to ultraviolet radiation, that is going to create a imbalance in the oceanic ecosystem. Okay. The last point, UV rays will also affect the plants. So UV radiation can alter the time of flowering in some plant species. It can also directly affect the plant growth by altering the physiological and developmental process of the plants. So you can see the whole of the nature is being affected because of the ultraviolet rays, and the only way to stop these things is ultraviolet rays is with the help of ozone, and it becomes our duty and responsibility to preserve this or stop this depletion of ozone layer. So what is that we could do? So ways to bring down the ozone layer depletion. So there has been an international agreement called Montreal Protocol in the year 1987 that has helped in reducing and controlling the industrial emission of chlorofluorocarbons. Okay, so there are a lot of agreements and other things has been made, but it becomes the duty of the individual to understand and also to educate others about the ill effects of these chlorofluorocarbons. Okay, not only with respect to chlorofluorocarbons, in most of the cases, most of the people do things without their knowledge. So first of all, we need to understand what happens if we start doing these things. What are the effects we are going to face? So majority of the time what happens is people will not know that these are the effects that they are facing because of these problems. So first of all, it's very much important that we have to give the awareness to people. Okay, so some of the agreements have been made to reduce or control the emissions of chlorofluorocarbons, and at individual level, each and everyone also have to contribute towards the reducing in the depletion of ozone layer. Buying and using recycled products, saving the energy, using of public transport can do a lot in combating ozone layer depletion. So these are some of the points which I've already told you. Right. The most important thing that we should do is spread awareness. So this is what I've told. So we have to spread awareness regarding the effects of depletion of ozone layer. What are the problems we are going to face? Same in the case of global warming. We need to educate people saying that what is global warming, what is the effects that we are going to face because of the change in temperature and heating of the earth's surface that is taking place. Okay, so that is why most probably this part has been put in the syllabus, so that we learn it first and then we can at least tell it to someone else, like why these things are happening and how to control these things. So these are the major issues that world is facing these days. So everybody has to do their bit. Okay, so that completes the environmental issues of global warming and depletion of ozone layer. So this brings us to the end of the first part of module 1. So in the beginning I've told you there are 3 parts in this, isn't it? So we have the energy sources. Along with the energy sources, we also have these environmental issues of global warming and ozone depletion. So that becomes the first part. The second part will be thermodynamics. Okay, the concept of thermodynamics, and then the different laws of thermodynamics and some of the concepts related to thermodynamics, and that becomes the second part. And the third part we will be discussing about steam, that is formation of steam, how steam is being formed, what are the properties of steam, and some numericals related to that. Okay, anyways, we will do that in the next class. So for today we will stop this session here. So we have started with the energy sources, and then in the next video we have spoken about ozone depletion as well as global warming.